Yeah, so Béla, tell us about your film.
Uh, you know, you do a movie when you don't have words to say. Because if I can say to you, in this case, I don't wake up at 4 o'clock. I'm not gonna to go to freezing in the set. And plus, I don't want to wasting the people's money. And that's, if I can tell you, I will tell you. And you never seen.
So where does the inspiration come from?
Yeah, you know, I'm the same like all of you. We are doing our daily life. We are seeing a lot of things. And by the end, something is moving you. And you are just transforming on you. And you have, you are forced to sharing with the people, sharing with you. And this is, and you know, every movie had a different reason or different inspiration. In this movie, we will talk about this because you saw it just right now, and I can say the examples. You know, László Krasnorkai, he's a friend of mine, and he's a very good writer, and he wrote a book. The title is Melancholy of Resistance. It was published in English, and I remember it was published in Slovakian. You can have it, and I hope you will understand. Anyway, he gave me the manuscript, and I read, and I said, it is absolutely impossible to do a movie about this book because we never ever see anyone who could be the Valushka. And by the end, 5 years later, I have been in Berlin. I was working with some young filmmakers, and one of them was doing a casting session, and she invited Lars Rudolph, who you could see. And Lars was just sitting. He wasn't an actor, and he was just a strange guy, street musicians. And by the end, I was watching him, and I started to talk with him, and I called László Krasnorkai at the same evening, and I told him, now we can do a movie because I funded a guy. And he was the reason for this movie.
So how the writing of the script goes or went back then?
No, no script. Sorry for the script writers. But I'm really, for me, I can tell you why. Because the words are different language. The literature is different language than the motion picture. And you cannot use it. You know, if you are sitting on your desk typing and writing and believing something, and by the end you go and you will find your location, we can talk about this, and you will see it's different. And you have to accept how it looks in the reality and how it looks your casting. You believe, and the worst case what you can do if you have a script and you want to fulfill. This is what I definitely never do. Because no reason. But, of course, we had to have some order. And, of course, we have dramaturgy. That's, you can see those cards. And this is my working. I'm doing these cards. Each scene has a card. And you can see, I just writing the first card is only one word, eclipse. And when you see the movie, you can see an 11 minutes long scene. But for me, is enough if I'm just writing, this is the eclipse. Because, you know, when you are filmmaker, you have to see the whole movie from the first frame till the last frame. And, you know, it's somehow very important for me not to working from the script, but working from these cards. And this movie was only 39 scenes. We have 39 cards. That's all.
Could you maybe elaborate more on the process of, apart from the script, there must be location scouting, the casting.
Yeah, the location, it's also one of the main characters, because the location has a face, the location has meaning, and you have to listen. And for me, really very important, that's why I'm doing myself the location scouting, because you never know. You can find maybe just a corner, or you can see something which is inspiring you or moving you. And this is why I'm very careful with the locations. For example, our last movie, it was the touring horse, and we had to build up the set because I did not find it any houses which can be good. And by the end, we built it, the whole house. But it was a real stone and wood house. And the place, you know, when I have been in this valley, and it was only this lonely tree on the top of the hill, I decided this lonely tree has to be one of the main character. And we I called the builders and I told them, okay, I wanted to have it a house and I can go and watch through the window, and I wanted to see all the time this lonely tree. And you know, this is how it goes. But in the Werkmeister, we did not build it anything. But in the Shatantongu, we were building. And, you know, it's all the time different. No recipe or no. And the casting, hey, the casting is, let's say, what can I say about the casting? The casting is, you know, I'm sometimes I'm working with professional actors, sometimes I'm working with non-professional people. And for me, the main issue is their personality. Because you have an idea and you can believe, let's say, a character. But this character is never existing. But you have to try to find somebody who has a similar personality. And when you have those people, your work is almost done. Because they are, you just say them, don't play, just being. And doesn't matter if I'm working with Tilda Swinton or let's say Hanna Sigula or some world famous actors or just somebody from the street, like how Lars Rudolph started. Now he's a famous German actor. He became. But I don't know. You know, you have to have empathy. You, you have to know everybody needs a different key. And to developing and haunting and stealing your personality, it is a very, you need a lot of empathy. And this is why I'm telling all the time, I don't know. I really don't know how I feel somebody and how we can do something together.
Maybe how do you work with actors or non? How do you work with actors or non-actors on the set?
The same. Everybody is human being, and you have to work with them as your partner or your no, you somebody needs, let's say, strong words, somebody needs slaps, somebody needs caresses. You know, it's we are different. And if I don't feel your personality, I will be fucked up.
I just have a quick question because I cannot escape it. What happened to the house after you built it for the Shatantango? Did you keep it or?
You know, when we build it, uh, because my mania about the lonely tree, that it was a gas pipe, and we did not get permission to leave it the house there. And this house is, when we finished the shooting, demolished.
Right, then back to the shooting process, I guess. Could you elaborate more on that? Like how? how does it happen when you get to the set finally after all the you found the right people, the locations, you have the script?
And we go to shoot. But before, I have to see it in the set alone. And I have to believe, sometimes we had very complicated and serious. If somebody is cinematographer, so see it, because it's difficult, complicated. But, and I have to see it and believing the whole situation and to try to see the camera movements, and when I'm ready, and I believe it will be perfect. Afterwards, I call it our crew, and I'm telling the people how will be this scene in this location. And then we start to rehearsal, but only with the camera. When the camera is ready, I can call the actors, because I wanted to steal their spontaneity. And if I start to rehearsal with them, in this case, we lose their spontaneity, because after I would like to put them to the deep water. And they have to leave front of the camera. And this is the way how you can get real emotions on their eyes, and you can see on the screen.
Maybe could you recall some memories of shooting the opening scene for Werkmeister's Harmonies, the dancing of the planet, how this shoot was done?
It was planned because I knew how they will dance. Plus, they were enough drunk for this kind of unsure movements, and that's what we did not rehearsal, but we shot many times when everything it was perfect.
So how many takes usually?
The actors usually the best in the first 3 times. Afterwards, they start to bored because they knew what they have to do. And this is what, and when they really, let's say, when it is happening, in this case, I could say them, okay, today is finished, and we will start tomorrow with this. And then for the next day, they are okay.
And as your takes are very long, so do you plan also this length before, or are you waiting for what happens? And
This is the same like the cooking. You feel it. You feel it. What is the good written? How how you can keep, how you can play with the time. Because let's say most of the films are ignoring the time. and our life is happening in the space and in the time. And I was all, that's why I don't like to see movies, because this kind of logic, action cut, and the simple storytelling, when you are not listening for the human being, you are just telling your story, what your scriptwriter, sometimes badly, sometimes good, made it. And, you know, and I was thinking, and, you know, how can I go closer for the essence of the life? And I said, I cannot ignoring the time and the space, because it's a part of our life. We are the part of the time and the distance and a lot of things. And this is the main issue why I decided, let's see when the takes are long. But I could say it's not only for the time and the space, it's, you know, because the long takes, when your actors or participants are in the scene and the camera is rolling, they have to be in the situation. No way out, because the camera is rolling and you don't stop. And they have to show up their real emotions, their real presence, and their communication, it's not verbal anymore. The meta communication is coming up. And this is why I think this is a really delicate stuff when you stop the camera or when you keep it rolling.
Does this meta communication concept help with because you work sometimes with actors that don't understand each other, I mean language wise?
Yeah, but who cares about the language?
And when the situation happens and you have those materials that are very long or different, how you process them after in the editing, or do you think about it again, or what was the process?
No, it's usually, we don't do editing. We just cut off the clap, and the end of the takes we have to cut. We put together them, and then it's ready. It's no reason to think about, you know, I told you, this action cut, it's boring for me. And plus, I remember when I was young, I read an interview with Jean-Luc Godard, who said the real filmmaker is editing in the camera. Of course, I was only one stupid guy who followed his advice because later he, his movies were many cuts.
What we didn't talk about in the maybe in the Zen, the music. Do you have some music in mind before you start shooting, or does it happen in the editing room? What part of?
The music is also one of the main character. And I like to know the main characters before the shooting, of course. And normally and usually, my composer goes to the studio, he's coming back with the music, and then we will talk about and we will find which point of the movie or how we can use it. Sometimes we are playing in the set because helps for the camera movement, helps for the actors. And anyway, it doesn't matter because we have to dubbing anyway because our because the actors are talking their mother language. It's totally different and it's sometimes a mess. For example, in The Man from London, Krobot was talking Czech, Tilda Swinton was talking English, and their daughter Erika was speaking Hungarian. And by the end, we have to make it an order in this chaos. But, you know, it doesn't matter because if they are in the situation, it's, you are not focusing. And then the whole post-production, all sound, it's artificial. We made it in the studio, and I like to do it, the sound, because you can, let's say, when somebody's knocking on the door, and you can put it stronger or softer, how you feel it.
Do you think about the sound also as a tool? Because, for example, in the Turin horse, the wind, the strong wind, is really like another person or another meaning in the whole scene.
Of course. But you know, sometimes it's a question of the pot meter.
Yeah. I would invite the public to think about the questions. We will give you microphones, but even before, one last question from me, and I will stop bothering all of you. Um, or- so I forgot.
Ask the question.
There was a question.
Oh, okay. I saw this.
Hello, I would like to ask you because you said that the filmmaker has to see the film as a whole thing. I was just wondering how this thing happens because is it like part of the process, like all these things, visiting location, choosing like the main characters as music, the tree on the top of the hill, or is it just like helping to precise the image inside you, and when does that happen? Then you start to like write a script if it's like this, or do you have like a rough idea of the whole film at the beginning, and then just like it's more precise when you start to work on it? How this thing happens?
It's step by step, of course, because let's say we have a, very beginning, a decision, okay, we will do this movie. But afterwards, depending by the location, casting, music, and all details are very important. As plus, you can, it looks like, as I mentioned, like cooking. You have lot of things. Okay, you have a recipe, and you are reading what you have to do. But by the end, you go to the market and you will get not the same quality of vegetables or the meat, and everything is somehow different. But by the end, you forget the recipe and you are just trying to compose something eatable from what you have. And you do your best. Every day you have to revise what you are doing. And sometimes, let's say, you could make mistakes, and in this case you have to reshoot. And that's what nobody likes, especially the actors, but sometimes, yeah. Or sometimes they don't feel it, but if they don't feel it, it means I said them badly because I did not make real human situation for them. If they are not good, mostly it's your fault because something fake. Plus, if somebody start to play, I say them, okay, it was very nice, but not for this movie. And they have to understand, they have to be themselves. If you can liberate them, they will be like a real human being. And this is a dirty job because I have to stealing their personality. Because otherwise you are not capable to love them on the screen.
Thank you for your answer. I was also wondering, because if you compare it to cooking, in a sense, sometimes I think you use a recipe for the food, and sometimes there's just like some type of feeling that maybe you want to create something, and you just improvise with the things, and it starts with some type of idea. And is it something like visual, if you understand what I mean? That it
Yeah, but you have to be very open. Millions things are happening around you. And what you are taking in or what you are closing out, it's depending what you want to say to the people. But this is what you never ever forget. What you want to say. But the words are not enough. And you have to show.
Thank you.
I remembered the question. It's really basic and stupid. That's why I forgot. But sadly, I remembered. Why did you? How did it all happen that you started to make movies? Why is the question.
Who so long, you know. But the main issue it was what I said to you, the words are not enough. Plus, you know, when I started, I was 16, but I think it's so boring because you all can read on the Google or can see on the internet some interviews. But the main issue is, you know, when you are 16 and you have a very big anger and you hate this fucking society and you want to change the world. If you don't want to change the world, you are a fucking conformist. And this is sure. And, you know, this is the starting point. And it's coming, something which moves you, as I told you. In my case, you know, I had a fucking 8mm Russian, this camera. The name it was Quartz. And I got it from my father. And I was thinking it's a kind of toy. And by the end, how I became a little bit older, and I became more and more sensible for the people and recognize how shitty, fucked up society, where are we living, and I had a feeling I have to react. And I had social sensibility, and I met with the gypsy workers group, and I shot a 20 minutes long short stuff. But it's really a very long time ago, and I don't want to waste your time. If you are interested, you can see on the internet. And I telling the whole fucking story. But the main issue is, you know, the beginning, you want to change the world. And by the end, I just understand, you know, the problems are not only social problems. And film by film, I became more, I went more deeper. And I understand the problems are ontological. And by the end, I understand the problems are cosmical. And what the hell is happening? And now I see I did not change the world, but I hope I changed maybe the world film language. And let's say if the film language part of the world, this case, even if it is just small shit, but it's, and for me it was a big effort. And it was somehow sometimes hard, sometimes I was fucked up by the politicians, and I'm still the black sheep in Hungary, but that's okay.
Maybe we can start with the lady over
Yeah,
there.
I have the microphone. Bonjour.
Okay.
I have two questions. The first one is, do you prefer to shoot in continuous order your scenes which you wrote on the board? And the second one is what happens if when the scene is done and a better idea comes to your mind, what do you do? Do you go to reshoot the scene and refine it to almost perfection, or do you just let it be this scene like it was shooted?
Sometimes this, sometimes that. You know, it's depending what is coming up. You know, I can believe to reshoot something, let's say 2 weeks later, just they have to forget what we done. But, you know, I told you, no recipe. No, it's depending how it goes. Sometimes you are very lucky and you will get at the first. Sometimes I told you maybe my mistakes, or maybe I say something which doesn't fit for our characters, you know. I cannot say to you what is the best. Everybody said I am a perfectionist. I was reading when Ji.hlava was complaining, I'm too perfectionist.
Thank you very much. I would like to ask you a little bit more about your relationship with your cinematographer and the camera movements when it comes to the rehearsal, and how is the relationship when it's so based on your feeling? How would you send that across?
You have to know I'm horribly autocratical, terrible man. And for example, in this movie, I had 7 cinematographers, and because I just telling them, okay, we are going from here to there. This is the first camera position. This is the framing, and the second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one. You know, the cameramans are different, but you don't feel it when you watch the movie. And because I was working all the time since my first experience with the same dolly guy. And the dolly guy was the same. But, you know, we are different. And sometimes the cinematographer not capable. And when I hear it, the word, someone say impossible, it's done. And it's not, because my dolly guy is coming and he will find the way, and we can achieve what we really wanted. No, this is the truth. But, you know, sometimes I was working with I did it 3 movies with the same guy. But the way, it's all the time this.
Thank you so much. And I would like to come back to your work with actors. And actually, during the preparation period, do you read with them, like, before the actually shooting period starts? Do you gather them? Do you speak with them about their characters? How do you prepare them, or like how do you elevate your work further?
You did not understand what I said.
Probably.
Why do I have to speak with the actors about the characters? Because they have to be the same as what we believe, almost the same. And I never talk with them about the film. We don't have script. They don't have to do anything. And they just coming to the set, and I tell them, you are standing here, you are moving to there, and to say something to her. But it doesn't matter what he will say, because if I made it a good casting, in this case, he will be himself, and it's no reason to play anything. Why? And, I became so ridiculous if I'm telling to them, what about this movie? Because we trust each other. They have to trust me, and I have to trust them. If we don't feel each other, why are we doing this movie? But you have to know well your actors, because the actor are really looks like an instrument and like a piano. And you have to know, if you want to see they are happy, which button what you have to push. And you have to feel it. If they are sad, which button what you push. And you have to know their life, their human conditions. You have to go with them to the pub. You have to spend time with them, because we are together. Sorry to disappointing you.
Béla, you will kill me, but it really sounds like you are the ultimate documentarist. So can you maybe say something about this distinction between the documentary and fiction, since we are at the documentary festival?
Yeah. I was reading and I heard this documentary. But I still don't know what is the documentary. Because if you have a situation and you are coming with your camera, the presence of the camera changing the people. Nobody will be the same like without camera. It means you definitely shooting a fucking fiction. It's not, the documentary doesn't exist. Because if I'm taking the camera and showing you, it is totally different if I'm taking the camera and showing to us. And this is a decision. What you want to shoot, how you want to show a situation or You know, that is why I don't believe the documentary is existing, but good luck for this. And believing you are a documentarist is surely not, because if you make a decision, plus when you are editing, it's your movie, it's not the reality.
Please, the question.
Hello. How we can define the beauty, and what is the holy for you?
Where are you? Okay.
I love hiding, and we can say that empathy and melancholic generate the breath of your cinema.
What can I say this? The melancholy is existing, that's sure. But I don't think I myself really melancholic guy, but enough to go out from my room, I will have every reason to be melancholic.
Okay. I think that we have around 3 questions left, so please.
Thank you. I have a question on the film just now, the Werkmeister's Harmony. I think there are very few female actresses inside, and comparing with the likable, respectful male actors, they somehow all seems quite unlikable. And I wondered if it's a intentional choice or just random. Thank you.
Oh, this is surprise me. I never counting the genders. Sorry, but why? If I look back for all my movies, mostly about the ladies. Really. If you see The Man from London, or if you see The Familyness, my first movie, and if you see The Outsider, or especially The Prefab People, or no, all of them are about the ladies. And doesn't matter the amount of the ladies, but conflict or the sensibility or something. But swear to God, I never counting this gender stuff. You surprised me now.
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry.
This will be first one, and then.
Okay. Do you like watching your own movies?
What?
Do you like watching your own movies?
I remember for them. I don't have a reason to see them because, hey, if you made, you were very focused and you know frame by frame what you made it. And plus, you have to understand, when you finished something and it's ready, of course, you will get new questions from myself. And you cannot do the same answer for the old questions. You have to think and you have to find a new answer for the new question. And this is how you go further. This is the way This is why I don't have to see my old stuffs, because it's, for my new question, is much more important than the last answer. Is it understandable? Okay.
Hello. You just said like when the words are not enough, you make pictures, you make images, and what happens when the images out in the world are so unbearable, so full of violence, and it becomes unbearable to make images? What would an artist do at that moment?
Question is, what do you want to say? And sharing with the people. Swear to God, we are in Europe, relatively comfortable situation, and I'm not, you know, the journalism is a different category. I can believe the journalism existing because it's enough to switch on the television and you can see the hell, like now in Gaza or like now in Ukraine, but this is somehow, I don't think this is a kind of, I don't believe this is a kind of art. And somehow when you are doing something, you are transforming on you, your experiences. Fortunately, I did not have this kind of violence. I haven't been in the war. I haven't been in this kind of edge situation. But I think, and I absolutely understand, if somebody who was in this situation has to talk about it, has to sharing, but it's so ridiculous if I'm coming from a different situation and I can share with you only what I saw personally. And somebody who had this shit, they have to tell about what they saw it. But it's a different point of view. Of course, we have to accept. But, you know, the words are really not enough for us.
The last one, over there, the last row.
I would like to ask you if you could meet you when you were 16 years old as a young filmmaker, if you have one essential advice to give to yourself.
What?
So if you have one advice to give to a young filmmaker, what would it be?
I don't have courage to give any advice because we all are different. You know, I'm working with some young filmmakers and I just try, and I was doing my own film school in Sarajevo, and my point of view, it was very simple. No education, just liberation. It means I want you to be free and do and show the world on your own way, not following any fucking advices. Because, and I hate every art school because you know what this means. Coming a teacher, telling you how he believes, what is the right way, and of course, who is the best student who can repeat his words on his exam. No. All of you are different. Everybody has different experiences. And how can I tell you what is the right way? No right way. It's coming from you. And don't provoke me to give you stupid advice.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks for your attention and all my best.